We are in Taiwan at a place called San Guai Heng, and it is considered, honestly, the best char siu in Hong Kong, and it just came out of the oven.
Awesome. It's juicy, it's dripping. Look at that glaze. You can tell that they specialize in char siu, and that's one of the favorite things that people come here to eat. It's like a cave, the stalagmites and stalactites, and they just ooze and drip with that sauce. And you can see the fattiness and the char. It's really a beautiful thing. But then they also have roast pork, they have chicken, they have ducks going. Welcome to the roasting room, where they're preparing all of the barbecue meats back here. They're prepping the meats. They have the roaster, the big roaster back there, and you can just see meat hanging around. But they do amazingly. They do everything in this tiny little kitchen in the back. So we're gonna see the process, especially of the char siu. He's like on rapid fire. Once he slices up the pork, then you go into the marinating process, and he puts all that pork into some giant bathtub-sized buckets with their signature marinade, which we'll never know all the ingredients in there, but definitely a lot of salt, a lot of sugar. There's probably some fermented bean paste. There's maybe some red wine. There's some spices, maybe Chinese 5-spice or star anise, and all that gets a dry rub coating. And what's interesting to me is that it's a dry rub coating on the pork. It's not a liquid sauce, but as the pork starts to react with that salt and that sugar, that's when the sauce starts to form. And so that marinates actually for an hour or longer to be able to coat that pork. Then they'll strand it all up, and they already happen to have some strands, some skewers ready to go in the oven. That was our first glimpse into the oven. It literally looks like a spaceship, the oven, but they have the fire at the bottom, and it's this cylindrical shape, so all that heat rises to the top. And yeah, it has this rack, this rotating rack, so he just monitors it through that window, little window here. It's such a cool oven, and art of roasting Cantonese meat this way is such a skill, such an art. So it's actually, I mean, this is an unbelievable experience to see behind the scenes of how it's cooked and what goes on the process. Because typically I would just go to a roast meat shop and I just, everything is ready and you just order whatever you want, they chop it up for you and you enjoy it. But to see the cooking, to see the process of what goes into it, it just makes it so much more special. And so he really takes his time to arrange the racks of char siu, ranging from the thinner pieces to the fattier pieces, and how it's going to roast in the oven, because he knows the heat levels so well. And so I think we're all arranged and ready to go. He's about to put them into the oven. The space shuttle oven is just fully loaded with char siu. In about 30 minutes, then they'll dunk it into this sugary syrup mixture, which is called the maltose, and that's what we'll see next. Once he pulls out all the char siu from the oven, then he has to clip away some of the burnt edges because of that fat, because of that sugar. It kind of burns on the edges. So he clips some of those away, and then it gets a dunk into that sugar syrup, the maltose. Wow. That's the final step. Then it will just ooze and just start to just kind of like cascade down the pieces of pork, down the char siu. But wow, that will make your mouth water. It's time to eat. What do you think? Should we start with the extra fatty char siu or the medium favorite?
Ooh, do you like to save the best for last?
Yeah, let's do fatty first then.
Okay, do the end, because I love the burnt bits.
Oh man, and that glaze, oh, you can already feel it almost sticking to the plate. It's so fatty. Oh, it's like oozy. Look at that wobble. Oh man, yes. That is just pure fat, but the flavor that comes out of it.
But also, like the fat, it's not wobbly. It's got a little bit of a texture, like it springs.
It does. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. This was life-changing. When I ate char siu here, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know it could be like this.
Awesome. So next up, we're gonna try the most popular version. It's the medium fatty. There's some meat on there, but it's definitely not lean though. There's definitely big chunks of fat. Okay, That's the one for me. Yeah, because the fatty one is a bit heavy, a bit chunkily fatty. This one, you've got that texture of the meat plus the flavor of the fat, that char that the fat brings to it.
Also, this is considered a more traditional taste to it. So it's not too sweet, not too savory, just more traditional. In this place, you know how many like kilos that they roast per day? 120 kilos.
120 kilos
Yeah,
of char siu per day.
yeah.
Okay, that's just a testament of how popular they are, how well they do it. Everything is outstanding, but for sure the highlight here is the char siu. And that medium mix of fatty to meat is the highlight. That is just superb.
1、3。
Char siu!
叉燒雲子啊！
Thank you,
Oh, that's
Ngoy.
all. Bye,
Thank you
bye,
very
bye,
much.
bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.